Hello everyone, welcome back to the Grand Prix Podcast. I'm Elton, this is my American friend Andy.
I resent that comment. I may be in America, but I'm not American.
Here's my
Just offending all our American listeners there. But
you're just taking the globe by storm, shall we say?
I am. I am your overseas reporter. You've had your roaming reporter on Shonky Lab. Now you've got your overseas one as well.
This is true. Yes. We've had outside broadcasters and almost murders live on air, and now we have an overseas.
Yeah, I was dispatched to go and cover the race live. Unfortunately, I got on the wrong plane and I ended up in California. It happens.
Nice one. Oh dear, I nearly died coughing then. Oh,
and if you'd like a job on the Grand Prix Podcast, please send a stamp addressed envelope to BBC Television Centre.
Yeah, we wish. So, so you watched the Grand Prix over in America.
I did.
In the far part of America as well.
Oh, the only bit further away from here is either Alaska or Hawaii, I think.
Yeah.
The race was about 4:50 a.m. here. No, 5. It started at 5 a.m. here. So yeah. Was
that the actual race itself, or just the programming?
No, that was the actual race itself. But fortunately, because I have massive jet lag, because it's a 12-hour flight over here, I was already awake from about 2:30. So I watched most of the preamble program as well.
Oh, excellent! Did you see it on American TV, or did you have your Sky?
Oh, I did some of my swordfish skills, like you go self, to watch it on Sky. And let us say no more of it than that, shall we?
Okay, we shall not divulge what is going on there.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, so I'm glad you got round to seeing it anyway. That's good.
Yes. I didn't see any qualifying or anything like that because I was on the plane, and even my skills can't overcome the lack of internet connection, full stop.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, they're a bit funny about that sort of stuff nowadays, aren't they?
A little bit. They keep making you turn your phones off before we take off.
What the hell? As if you're going to take control of the phone. No, we're getting into politics already. We shouldn't be doing that.
No. That's the Shonky Lab episode or something.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. How to take over a plane with a plane. I didn't say that. Please don't put me on a list somewhere.
Yes.
I've just been marked down, haven't I? I've had my name ringed in red. Oh, okay. Anyway, Austrian Grand Prix. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to talk about.
We are, yes. Austrian, not Australian, as Google search keeps trying to suggest to me.
Ah, yes, it will do that. It will do that many times. But yeah, I want to get your initial opinions on this, as I know you didn't see the qualifying or the practice, so just the race itself, just an overall of what you thought of it.
Well, how can I put this? Boring.
Really?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Were you expecting that on this track, though?
I was kind of expecting it, but hoping it wouldn't be the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I again, new formula. You know, in hope that actually, with the new regulations, it wouldn't be as it was. But it wasn't great. I mean, the most interesting thing was the cars doing an impression of an A10 Thunderbolt as they went over the raised curbs.
Oh yes, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I've been trying to work out where I've heard that before, because the A10 can only fire in short bursts as well, can't it?
Yeah, it does in like a 2-second burst sort of thing. But yeah, every time and it was a great sound because you hear the cars go over these curbs, and you'd hear it on the commentary box while they're talking. You just hear a brr, brr.
Yeah. Like some old foreign phone, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I have to admit, that noise, I quite enjoyed it at the very beginning. Towards the end of the race, kind of fed up with it.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of, the novelty was there at first. It's like, oh, that's kind of fun, and that's kind of cool. But after that, I was just like, nah, it's a bit boring, to be honest.
Do you remember that episode of Top Gear where they had the streets where they play a tune as you drive over the road?
Very vaguely.
Yeah. I think it's in Dubai, where if you reach a certain speed, you can play a tune on the holes or the little grooves that are dug out on the road.
That does sound familiar. Yeah.
Why not do that on here?
Well, why not indeed? In fact, let's send a letter to Liberty Media. Send it to Liberty Media at BBC Television Centre on the W12.
Yeah, Liberty Media. If you are listening, I doubt you are, because why would you? But if you are, or someone is that has the way in, how about just have a word with them and see if they would like that idea? Just to play a little tune or just spice it up. If that noise was coming from a car, I'd be well up for that.
Do you think they get a bonus point if they manage to play it at the right speed? You know, if you get it just right. So it's like a bonus point of a championship.
Yeah, it'll be on 4 corners and you have to go round the whole circuit and hit on one lap all 4 corners to play the full tune. Then you get some sort of star above your head.
I think there should be. It sounds like there should be fireworks involved in this.
Yeah, it's getting very Mario Kart again, isn't it? Blue shell and stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh, well, let's not give the blue shells to Sebastian Vettel. We'll never hear the end of it.
There'll be cars popping over everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Anyway, so you found this race boring?
Little bit, dull. I mean, I felt, again, just broad strokes. The first corner, the first corner was, that's interesting. And then the last lap, maybe the last 2 laps, were good. But other than that, it was vroom, 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 vroom.
Fair enough.
Vroom, as they go over the curbs.
Yeah. I'm on a similar vein. I found the first lap incident interesting, to say the least, and I think that will have repercussions later on. I liked the last 4 or 5 laps where it was getting a bit dicey. There was a section in the middle. This race was dominated by what would people do and when would they do their pit stops. And that's what the whole race boiled down to. And I found a little bit of that interesting. Apart from that, it was pretty dull. I'm not saying it was a come down from Baku, because I think that was a really good shot in the arm that we needed.
Yeah, I mean, Baku was great. I'm sure the more purists out there would argue for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But, it was entertaining. And I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what we want out of Formula One.
Yeah.
And, okay, you can make the argument that I was jet lagged to fuck after a 12-hour flight at 5 o'clock in the morning. Maybe not in the best frame of mind to watch a Formula One race, but yeah, I was pretty dull.
Well, you would know what a good race would be. You've seen plenty of them. We've spoken about plenty of them already by now. So whether you're jet lagged or not, you still know what you're seeing.
Yeah, and it just didn't catch me. It's just, again, I was willing for more. I wanted a proper dogfight. I wanted to see Hamilton fighting his way back up to get to Vettel. I wanted to see Vettel and Bottas and Kimi and Ricciardo all fighting. I wanted to see what Alonso would do with his McLaren, because let's face it, you give him a sniff of a point and he'll do things which, the laws of God and men dictate that car shouldn't be able to do.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, absolutely right.
I'm pretty sure he's got a 6-star pentagram in the cockpit somewhere.
He's probably got a rabbit's foot and probably the rest of the rabbit. That's why he's having such bad luck at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so was there any fallout from Baku onwards? I know we need to speak about the calendar as well, because we forgot to mention that last time out, but we still... Should we mention that now?
May as well, while we remember, or forget otherwise.
Okay, let me just Google the calendar. Calendar 2017. No, not just a normal. The F1 one, please. Right, what have we got here? So this was confirmed 2 and a bit weeks ago, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a bit after... What came after Monaco?
It was... Canada.
Yeah, after Canada. That was it.
Okay, so should we go through the full calendar?
Yeah, well, let's not bother doing the whole thing. There's 21 races on it.
Yep.
anything standing out to you as in, oh, that's interesting, or oh, that's a shame, or anything like that?
Russia. Oh, that's a shame. That's in that side of things.
Well, equally so. Monaco, still fucking going there.
I thought we were going to France. I
We
can't
are.
see that on here.
It's round 8 at Paul Ricard, 24th of June.
24th of June. It's not there.
Well, then you're looking at the wrong calendar. Are you looking at the 2017 calendar, not the 2018 one?
No. No. Hang on.
Shall I just send you the link for this one?
No. No, I found it. Hang on, my internet's really slow. Oh, look, there it is. Yes, 22nd to 24th of June. There we go. So, yeah, hang on. Oh, the Russian one's moved, isn't it? That's right. Yes.
Yeah, it's now in September.
Okay. Right, so the Russian one's moved. The French one is looking good. Paul Ricard, that was a very fast circuit from what
It
I
was,
remember.
I remember it being good. When was the last time we had a Formula One race there? That was...
What, Paul Ricard, 1990.
Was it 1990?
Yeah.
Wow. The lap record for the short circuit is currently held by Nigel Mansell.
So he would have been in the Ferrari then as well.
Yes. So whatever happens, there's going to be some history made there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to that. I like the French Grand Prix. I like the French. I like the atmosphere that we get from there. It's not backing onto the British Grand Prix though, which I really like. I like it when you get the French, British and German Grand Prix within a month of each other.
Well, we do have effectively 3 races back to back because we've got the Austrian one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, we've got 4 back to back here. No, 3 back to back. So we've got French, French, Austrian, and British are all back to back. And then there's a week off, and then we get Hockenheim and the Hungarian.
Yep.
So yeah, basically June is a particularly busy month for Formula One.
Dude, we're going to be so busy.
We are.
Because you have...
we better get our other podcasting shit done before that's that, it's just like, because everything else can go to hell.
We have Le Mans thrown in there, but there is no clash with the Canadian Grand Prix for Le Mans, is there?
No, they've Liberty and the FIA have made the decision to avoid clashing both Le Mans and the Indy 500 with big races if they can avoid it. So,
right. Apart from that, any ones that you would get rid of straight away? If you could remove 2 from that list, what 2 would you remove?
Only 2.
Only 2.
Oh wow. Ooh.
Because I think I know what ones I would now.
What would you get shot of then?
Okay, well, we had Azerbaijan, but we got a bloody good race out of it last time out. But the first race was dull as ditch water. But it's given us a good race, so I cannot deny it that. So that would stay. I would remove Russia straight away.
Yeah.
I might remove... the Mexico Grand Prix. That might be the one I get rid of. Germany depends on where it is. It's at Hockenheim, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Hockenheim this time out.
Okay, not a great track. But there we go. There's 2 that I would remove anyway.
I think the listeners could probably guess which one. Listeners could probably guess which one I'd get shot of.
And the other one?
This is the thing. You're only giving me 2. If it was 3.
No, you get 2. That's it.
I'm just saying. If it was 3, it would be Monaco, Russia, probably Austria after this time out.
Mm-hmm.
But since I've only got 2, I think I'll ditch Monaco and Russia.
Okay. 2 streets.
I still do it. I'll do an event at Monaco.
Yeah.
be it a launch event or a time trial event. I'd do something there, but I'd get rid of a fucking Grand Prix.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, so that's the calendar sorted out. So at least we got that out of the way. It's up there. It's on many, many places. Go to f1.com. You can find it there as well. So please check that out.
Wikipedia. It's out there, yeah. Also, just a couple of notes on technical. Well, we already mentioned the German Grand Prix returning after a year absence because Hockenheim dropped out this year. And the Malaysian Grand Prix is cancelled. They've dropped it, but they said they might come back if the show gets better, so we'll see. Okay. Although I think Liberty Media are committed to not doing much more than 21, or at least the teams were a bit like, dude, 21, kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And also just regulation tweaks for next year. They've announced those sodding coat hanger T-wings are being outlawed, and so are the barge boards. So they'll be gone as well. So
barge boards? What barge boards?
Not barge boards, the billboards. You know, the shark fin things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Those fucking things, yeah.
Okay.
So yes, that's kind of what's on spec for next year. So yes, the only other big news really. Well, there's a couple of bits of news, but the big news was the fallout from Mr. Vettel's little road rage incident, which went to an FIA. It wasn't a tribunal; it was just a hearing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was just a case of maybe we should look at this a bit more closely.
Yeah,
closer.
But how long of a short of it? It was pretty farcical, to be perfectly frank. They said if Vettel says sorry, we won't do anything about it. So Vettel promptly went and said sorry. But this is absolutely 100% the very, very, very last chance after the absolute very, very, very last chance from last year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised they did review it again. I thought that the idea of giving him a penalty on the track was a case of just shutting the book anyway.
The only reason anyone's thinking it wasn't severe enough is because Hamilton had the headrest issue.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for that, Hamilton would have won. Vettel would have ended up wherever he ended up, and there'd be no harm done. But because Hamilton, at more or less the same time, had to do that as well, it feels like he wasn't punished. But Vettel was punished.
Yeah.
He was. My issue with it is it's not so much the incident itself, it's his attitude to it.
Yeah.
Is that whole, straight afterwards, he's like, I've not done anything wrong. He should be sorted out. He should be told off and all this. And I think it's probably more with Ferrari and their managing of Vettel than with Vettel himself there, but they should have been straight up. You just need to be contrite, and I'm sorry. Just trust us on this one.
Yeah, they should have managed it a bit better.
They should have taken charge of the story, because after that, and then he goes and says sorry. It was only after they announced the terms of the thing. I mean, it sounds as insincere as fuck, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm very sorry I overreacted. You're only saying that because you get in trouble if you didn't. I mean, it's just like, I'd kind of almost would rather you just stuck to your guns at this point,
Yeah. No, look him in the eye. Look at him. Look at your brother. That's what I used to get. Look at him when you're saying sorry. Mean it. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing from that as well. I think I was erring on the side of caution about that clash that they had in the last race. And I remember texting you on the Monday, I think it was. I rewatched the incident again.
Yeah.
And my opinion of it had not totally changed, but really swayed towards, Vettel really meant that. I looked at it with fresh eyes the next day. Sometimes you need to do that with certain things. And I found that throughout my life in lots of different things. And I did that with this situation. I came away from it first time thinking, it may be an accident, maybe not as deliberate as first thought. Looked at it again the next morning, thought, no, man, that is pure deliberate. And promptly told you about it straight away. It's like, yeah, no, that was really deliberate bollocks to that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's kind of in a way you can see it. I mean, and I really didn't like the defence all the old Formula One drivers were about the red mist. It's like, well, no, I mean, okay, it wasn't premeditated when he got into the car in the morning. He was going to do it, but these are professional athletes, and at the end of the day, you don't see a football player go over and fucking punch one of the other ones, and then we just tell the defence, go, oh, the red mist is descended on him, it's fine. It's like, no, you're getting fucking sent off at that point.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you do. I don't know anything about football, but I'm assuming that's what would happen. Whereas in this instance, he was effectively sin-binned. And that's, look, if that's, I mean, I think they said the only penalty they could have gone to after the 10-second stop and go was disqualification. Maybe it's a case of they needed more of a sliding scale on the stop and go penalties. Like, you can stop them and just say, right, 30-second stop and go penalty or something. Or maybe it's a case of you just turn around and say, you're losing your points for that race.
Or
I don't think these are things that they can do there in Venlo. They're things that have to go through the tribunal. And I just think the stewards could do with a few more arrows in the quiver,
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, a few more segments in it. Maybe pull up in the garage, get out the car, have a massive blackboard.
Have to run around it 3 times and then get back in.
I was thinking of a blackboard more like Bart Simpson, where he has to write lines on it. I will not clash with other people, and he has to write 100 lines, then get back in the car, and then go off.
Can I just give you a completely random sidebar at that point?
Yeah.
So when I was at school, it was just as computers were kind of becoming in mainstream. And we had a computer in the library, and one I was in year 7, so this was like 94. I got told I had to write lines, and I asked if I could type them on a computer rather than write, because I had terrible handwriting. I said fine. Of course, I knew what Control C and Control V did at that point. The teacher didn't.
It took me ages to work out Control C and Control V.
Yeah.
God, we used to have a copy on my. I think I had an Acorn Electron, and you used to put the cursor underneath the line that you wanted to copy, and then you just press copy. And it would copy what was underneath the cursor on the next line down. And so that's how you do your lines. But, yeah.
Anyway, I digress. But yes, I just think they could do with a greater range of potential punishments than what they seem to have available. Yeah. It seems to me, though, they went for the most severe punishment they could do short of disqualification. And it just seems to me that there's got to be more of a step between that and that. I mean, I think in an ideal world, the punishment he should have had would be to go a lap down. Because there were so few qualifiers, he might have still been able to get a point, so he'd still been hungry for it.
Yeah.
But it would have been enough of a punishment that, there'd be no question that you'd done fucked up, son.
That's right. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe a couple of more layers of telling them off, I suppose. Like you say, more arrows or more quivers in the bow, or however you put it. I can't remember.
Arrows in the quiver.
Arrows in the quiver. That's it.
So yeah, I mean that was the big one, and obviously Formula One pundits being what they are, we've been bigging this up all week. Trying to make it out like it's Senna v Prost again. It's just like no. What Senna did to Prost in Suzuka was quite a bit different from this, and if that happened today, as much as I love Ayrton, he'd probably be banned from Formula One for that.
I think so, yeah. That would have been... Your super license would have been taken away, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would have been pretty revoked.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's some more news from in between. We mentioned Robert Kubica last time out, had his test with Renault. Well, he's now got a second test, apparently, and a lot of rumours swirling around. He might be Renault's pick to... partner with Hulkenberg. Of course, they've not said partner with Hulkenberg, but there's no way they're getting rid of Hulkenberg. So let's face it, it's that.
He's testing at Paul Ricard as well, isn't he?
He is. Although, as someone pointed out, Kubica doesn't currently have a super license.
Right. Okay.
So not entirely sure what they do about, because the whole super license requirement was brought in to stop Max Verstappen's effectively getting in. Kids going straight from Formula. I don't know, Formula Milk into Formula One there.
Well, no, the super licenses have been around for a long, long time anyway.
No, they've been there for a long time, but it used to be you could effectively just get an exemption. You just go to the FIA and say, please, sir, please, can we just not bother? Because when Kimi Räikkönen came back, he didn't have a super license,
right,
and he got an exemption.
okay.
And the point the guy was making, it might have been Rundle. The point they were making was Kubica doesn't have that option. He would have to go and race and score points in a lower formula to get a super license.
Yeah, well, I think that's why there was so many miles put underneath his belt in the first test. So he could cover a certain amount. It's all to do with getting him into that seat, isn't it? If they had a choice of Kubica or any other driver in a yellow jumpsuit at the moment, I think they'll go for Kubica for definitely the second drive. Well,
no disrespect to Mr. Palmer, but I think if it was a choice between him and an inanimate carbon rod, they'd probably go with Rod at this point. So
It's scored exactly the same amount of points, isn't it?
It's true, thus far, and been less of an embarrassment, frankly.
Yeah.
And but anyway,
as well, maybe.
And, oh God, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
stop
stop
banging on Palmer. Stop banging it. The other bit of news was Carlos Sainz put his foot squarely in his mouth, and it's quite a weird one. This one, apparently, he's just said, "I've been at Toro Rosso the feeder series for Red Bull for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm here next year, it's 4 years. So unless they're going to sit me in a Red Bull, I'm going to go look somewhere else." And Red Bull have kind of turned around, and they've all kind of told him off. And I think Christian Horner says, I think it's very disingenuous you biting the hand that feeds you and giving you your big break in Formula One by saying these sort of things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, excuse me, what? What? You won't actually give him a chance in your top tier team. And so he's effectively been the bad guy for wanting to look elsewhere. I mean, I don't know where else he'd go because I don't know any other better riders out there, but whatever you want to say about Toro Rosso, they're the B team. They are.
I don't think he's wrong in airing his opinion, but I get Horner's position about the hand that feeds you because he hasn't got a place in Red Bull at the moment. There is no seat in Red Bull at the moment. You've got two of the four best drivers in their car at the moment on the grid.
Who are the other two out of interest?
Alonso straight away.
Yeah.
And Hamilton's a hot property, isn't he?
That's not what you said, though. It's the best, so...
Yeah, okay. You know what I mean, though. There's not.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I like watching you squirm.
Yeah, okay. There's not a better pairing in another team. Name me a team with a better pairing at the moment.
Bottas and Hamilton?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that. I personally wouldn't say that.
Fair enough.
Bottas and Hamilton is not as exciting as Daniel Ricciardo and.
Oh, you say it's exciting.
Well, that's the better pairing.
Oh, if I'm a team manager, I want harmony and reliability over excitement. Last thing I want is excitement. As a team manager, that's what I'm saying. You know?
Yeah. I think Sainz is well entitled to mention it. Maybe not as strongly as he has and turn around, almost threatening.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know if he actually was threatening or if it just came across that way because of the interview. Because let's face it, that's entirely possible there. So
yes, it's editing and stuff like that. They just edit the way they want it to sound, don't they? And to
just take out a soundbite. You know, he might have said something along the lines of, I love it at Red Bull and Toro Rosso and I want to stay here, but if they can't, I might have to look elsewhere. And they just took, I might have to look elsewhere out of the thing. And it's just like, wow, my God.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, yeah. Also, during the qualifying, was it during the qualifying? Or no, it was the morning of qualifying. It sounds like Max Verstappen might be putting his CV around places.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Should he be biting the hand that feeds him?
what this, but when you have that power, he is hot property, isn't it? He is the future of Formula One at the moment. He's one of the youngest guys out there.
Yep.
And so he has it all in front of him. And so he has all the teams to choose from at any time. He's in a really good car at the moment. He's having a bit of a lean season this season. I think.
Well, it's reliability more than anything. You can see it's not him messing up. It's been car issues.
Yeah.
But this is always, in my opinion, this is when you can tell. You see, I think one of the best seasons for Lewis Hamilton was the 2008 season. Not 2008, sorry, the 2009 season. Because just in terms of character building, I think he became a much better driver in 2010 and 2011 and 2012 because he had that really bad season in 2009.
Right.
Do you remember they were like fighting at the back of the grid? I remember, was it the British Grand Prix? And you had Alonso in the Renault, which was pretty poor at the point.
Yeah.
And Hamilton in the McLaren, which was just going backwards. And again, it's all well and good being good when your car's amazing, but you've got to be good when the car's not great.
Yeah.
And as we see this year, for the last couple of years with Alonso.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Character building. There you go.
Right. Well, yeah, he's put his name out. I think it was the Independent that reported that he might have been speaking to some red cars at some point. Nothing's been signed at the moment. Jos Verstappen has turned around and said he'll be there in Red Bull next season, but that doesn't count out 2019 where everything could shuffle around.
Well, when Vettel, was it Vettel? No, it was Alonso. When he made the announcement he was moving out from Renault, it was like a year in advance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you never know.
Yeah. It's starting the merry-go-round, shall we say.
Oh, God, yeah. It started early this year.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, right. I'm going to quickly wrap through free practice, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, you go nuts, mate.
Okay, cool. Right, we had, what did we have? Max Verstappen sliding through a gravel at turn 7. We had the Ferrari spinning. At one point, Sebastian was rolling backwards after turn 1, facing the wrong way, which was a very daunting prospect from his point of view. Grosjean was getting punctures left, right and centre. I think he hit 2 curbs and ended up with a puncture. And McLaren had their Spec 3 engine on tap for Alonso, I think it was.
No, they both had it.
Oh, they both had it, did they?
Well, they both had it initially.
Right. Okay. FP2, we had Bottas spinning, nearly took himself out of the wall on turn 6. The curbs spat Sainz out. He went over the curb on the second to last corner. He tried to join the track again, and he got his under tray caught on the curb, and it spat him back onto the grass, which could have been problematic. It looked horrible. It really did look a horrible incident, but he got away with it. Yeah. Kimi Räikkönen nearly ran over photographers in the pit lane, and Kvyat had a fire in his brakes, I think it was. I know Alonso missed most of the session because he had a broken floor as well. And in between free practice 2 and 3, they changed some of the curbs. I think Max Verstappen was one of the main people turning around and saying these curbs aren't good enough. They're not designed for Formula One. So
yeah, they reshaped the last corner?
Yeah,
before the race.
That's right. Yeah. And free practice 3, we had Sainz breaking down straight out of the pit, which screwed everyone else up. He had to be pushed. They tried to start it again. Do you remember when Palmer tried to start his Renault from the ERS, I think it is?
Yeah.
Or from the electric motor. He was trying to do that. I don't think he got that accomplished, though. Then he had to be pushed off to the side. Yeah. Hamilton had a scary moment when a brake failed on him coming up to turn 3. He ended up locking up. You could see it in super slow motion. His right hand front wheel, his disc just exploded. Lots of carbon fibre everywhere and just locked up on his other wheel. So that was a scary point. and Alonso dropped back to the Spec 2 engine for reasons I cannot remember.
It basically, the Spec 3 engine broke. It was the MGU K on the Spec 3 broke, and it's kind of given Honda a problem now, because if they replace it for Silverstone, that's another fuck knows how many penalties for him.
Yeah.
So they need to see if they can run the Spec 2 MGU K on the Spec 3 engine. It's Frankenstein's bloody It's Frankenstein's engine at this point.
It's the lunar module as well, isn't it? It's the square scrubbers versus the round scrubbers.
It is. We've got to find a way to make a round hole, a square peg fit into a round hole rapidly.
Wow. Oh, they didn't even think about interchangeable parts. Flipping hell. God damn it.
So yeah, that's let's face it, at this point, that's just par for the sodding course though with McLaren and Honda.
Yeah.
It's I'm angry these days with Honda more than anything else, and the sooner they just effectively fuck off, I think the better for everyone.
Well, they're not, because they're going Sauber next year.
Oh well, there you go. Sauber's death blow right there. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go into qualifying very briefly?
Yes,
there's not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, let's. I don't think we've mentioned. Oh yeah. Well, if we haven't mentioned it or not, Lewis's gearbox, they discovered a potential damage or actual damage?
I think it was potential.
Yeah, it was potential damage, and so they decided to replace it before qualifying. So they knew going in he was taking a 5-place grid penalty, whatever happened.
Yeah. Which was, they keep it hidden for quite a while as well, until they really had to turn around and say, yeah, look, we've taken a grid penalty. They left it to the last minute.
I was kind of out of the loop for a fair bit of this, but before I took off, I saw they did 2 statements saying that they discovered it, they were evaluating if they felt they needed to or not, and then they decided they wanted to err on the side of caution, so they did it. And then they did a separate one, emphatically stating the damage was in no way connected whatsoever to Sebastian Vettel running into the back of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. Right, okay, so he's taking that grid penalty, so he's going into qualifying knowing that straight away.
Yeah, he knew whatever happens, the best he could hope for was 5th.
Yeah, okay. Right, so Q1. Stroll looks all over the place. He looked...
Both of the Williams, didn't they?
Yeah, well, neither of them made it through, did they? Neither of them made it through to Q2. They looked really, really slow. The other 2 people knocked out in Q1 were Jolyon Palmer in 16th in the Renault, and both Saubers of Ericsson and Verline. What else did we have? We had Grosjean crushing a gravel trap. Magnussen had left rear damage on his suspension. Part of it failed on him, so it means that he couldn't take part in Q2.
Ah.
So the people out, as I've just said, we had Verline, Ericsson, Stroll, Massa and Palmer. Going into Q2, Kevin Magnussen wasn't taking part in that, so we had a diminished grid for that. Nothing really happened. Quite dull, if anything. Daniel Kvyat looking really slow again. Both McLarens in 13th and 12th. Alonso leading Van Dorn.
It's the first time they've both made it into Q2, I believe.
Is it?
I think so.
Right. And Van Dorn not looking too far away from his teammate. Now, is that the Spec 3, Spec 2 engine?
Well, that's potentially, yes, because Alonso's running a Spec 2 engine, Van Dorn's running a Spec 3, and he still couldn't get past Alonso.
Yeah. But looking closer, though, so I suppose if Alonso had the Spec 3, he would have been into Q3.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
Into Q3, we had not much happening, but towards the very end, we had Grosjean breaking down. We had Valtteri Bottas putting it on pole position for what he thought was a primary pole position. Lewis Hamilton was sitting in second and in third, and Vettel was sitting in second. Then we had Grosjean break down after turn 1, and he was just stopped. He couldn't move it anywhere, and so there was yellow flags, and people were going out for their very last run, and it screwed everyone up. They couldn't go out and put their fastest laps in. They were starting their very fast laps, and that was it. It was screwed. So it was a bit of a whimper in qualifying, the way that it ended. Unless you were Max Verstappen, who ended up spinning off, coming into turn 7, I think it was, and he said he planted his foot a bit too hard, which spat him off across the gravel. He didn't hit a wall again, which is good, but he ruined a set of tyres for it and basically just ruined his afternoon. So it wasn't the greatest qualifying session, I don't think. I wouldn't say it's down to the track. I just think it just didn't work. Didn't work this time out.
This track used to give us great races back in the day.
Yeah.
At least I remember it's great races here. I think, again, it comes down to the formula just doesn't really work. I know we keep coming back to Le Mans, but the one thing that always struck me there was, you got the car. If you have an LMP1 car, can get up behind an LMP2 car. And let's face it, that's the kind of difference between, say, a Mercedes and a McLaren, for want of a better example, or a Force India. They could get behind them, get into a tow, pull them up alongside them and get around here. Whereas here, with the cars as they currently have in Formula One, they're waiting for blue flags to flash to make the slower cars get out of their way, because it's just they can't get by them any other way. So, yeah, I really hope they can address that in the coming years.
Yeah. Okay. I know we've already said it, but I want to get rid of blue flags now.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I want to get rid of blue flags.
And make it down to the leading car to go around the lapped car.
I think it speaks to a we're getting into politics again, but it's kind of a proletariat-based system sort of thing here. We're sort of thing where all cars are created equal, but some are more equal than others. Where okay, you're leading the race, that's great, but I'm having a bloody scrap here for a point, which will save my team one way or the other.
Yeah.
So you've got 200 and whatever points. I need this one. Why should my race be compromised for yours?
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I'd rather look. You want to be the best. Part of being the best is you have to pass slower cars.
Do you remember?
And I get. Well, I get they brought it in because there was instances, I think, back in the Schumacher era, where I don't know if it was a championship or a race, but it kind of ruined an interesting battle that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it was like, it wasn't doing it week in, week out like it's doing now with the blue flags. And all you get is the drivers whinging about blue flags, going, oh, they didn't move out of my way. They didn't curtsy properly as I went by. Do
you remember maybe in the 90s, going into 2000s as well, I suppose, there was a big deal made of, this person can cut through the traffic better than the other person. Yeah. And it was a skill all of it on its own, really, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's in the same way as back in the day, the glory days, being able to do an entire race on a single set of tyres, or being able to drive in the wets on the slicks for the longest period. These were skills, whereas now it's just. I mean, again, it's kind of hard to blame the drivers when if you've got this available to you, you're going to want it used. But still, it all for me comes back to the fact these cars just cannot follow closely, and that to me speaks to these cars are designed to go as fast as humanly possible on their own on a track, and the problem is they don't operate on their own on the track. Every one of those car designers builds their car to be away from the line in P1, and they never see another car except when it has to pass it under blue flags.
Yeah.
That's what they design the cars to do. Whereas when you go and look at the endurance championships, they know they have to pass the slower cars throughout. They have to be able to get a tow and get to pull around past them. So I kind of would like them to kind of steer that way a little bit more,
Yeah. Right. Okay. Right, well, that's qualifying. We had Valtteri Bottas in pole position. Sebastian Vettel taking second, Hamilton in
This was
third.
only was this his second? This his third ever pole, was it?
This is his second ever
Bottas?
pole.
No, because he had pole with Williams once, didn't he?
No.
Hang about.
No, did
Man
he?
looks up thing on internet.
No. I think it was Massa that got the pole in Austria.
Hang about. Man looks up thing on internet.
Yeah, go on in. Go for it.
Bottas. No, it is only his second ever pole position. I stand corrected.
Good. There we go. Excellent.
Yeah.
I think you might be thinking of Hulkenberg in the Williams.
I might have been thinking of Hulkenberg. Yeah.
So he's taken his pole position. Hamilton finished third, and they had their little meeting on the track, which didn't go as well as before. The guy interviewing him, I think he's one of the commentators for F2, and he was like a puppy dog on sherbet. He really was. And he just far too excited.
Just get used to it next week, mate.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that very, very soon. Hamilton and Vettel had a handshake, and then he tried to make them have a handshake again. I think they're just getting fed up with it. Now the season is about Hamilton versus Vettel, clearly. And I think the guys are already fed up with it. They know.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, and I think that's the case. It's like, they said their piece, they want to move on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's trying to... We don't need the press to create false drama.
No.
Just let it evolve as it is, So,
exactly, yeah. That's what I think. Kimi Raikkonen was 4th, Daniel Ricciardo was 5th, Max Verstappen 6th, Grosjean was 7th, Sergio Perez 8th, Ocon 9th, and Carlos Sainz rounding out the top 10. So there we have the qualifying sorted. Mm-hmm. Now the race.
Yes.
There's not a lot to this.
There really is not.
So how about we go through the start, the very lightning start, the retirements, and then anything else that happened?
Yeah, sure. That works for me.
I think that will do.
Sure.
So, did Bottas jump?
No. Well, demonstrably he didn't, since the reaction time between the lights going out and him moving was 0.2 hundredths of a second.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It's 2/10. So again, we come back to the same thing which happened in the aftermath of the Lewis one. The FIA have this telemetry. I mean, one of the big things about Formula One is the level of science and the accuracy, the fact you can measure things down to the hundredths of a millisecond and everything here.
Yeah.
Well, they did that. They measured it down to the hundredths of milliseconds, and he didn't jump.
Yeah.
So
it's facts, isn't it?
Now, it is facts. And again, now you can. I'm not saying you, but people can argue. They'll go, "Oh, well, his finger slipped off of a thing a fraction beforehand." Well, maybe so, but he timed it perfectly, so that the car didn't start to move until. I mean, next you'll be complaining of, "Oh, well, the light reaches the eyes of the drivers at the front of the grid by a billionth of a nanosecond before further down, so that's an unfair advantage." It's just like, that's it. That's just stupid. At the end of the day, his wheels didn't start turning until after. I don't think it should be a penalty for anticipating the start either.
Really?
I mean, I really don't, because at the end of the day, I think if you can time it so that as you let it go, your wheels start going as the lights go out, I think that's fair game, because at the end of the day, if you get it wrong, you just jump the start, and that's a 10-second penalty or whatever you get.
Yeah.
Which you've got to serve within the first 3 laps.
Maybe they should do that. Maybe you would get some more false starts.
You'd get some more false starts, but I'm just like, I don't have a problem because again, it's risk is part of the game. I think if you want to trust your instinct, use the force, and just kind of trust your instincts. And if you nail it, fine.
You've turned off your targeting computer.
Luke, you've turned off your traction control. Is there a problem? Yeah, you've turned off your anti-stall. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think if you do it, it's a risk. But if you get it right, you get the advantage. I don't think any of the drivers would do it because it's a random delay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So I don't have a problem with the way he did the start. In fact, I applaud him. All power to you, mate.
I have to admit, when I first saw his lightning start, the very instant that he pulled away, I thought he'd jumped. Telemetry has proven that I was wrong in thinking that. I can see why Vettel thought it, because there is it on second viewing. It doesn't. It is as the lights go out, he pulls away. The onboard camera is a very different view from my point of view, because it does slope upwards, that part of the track as well, doesn't it? And so
I think it's a simpler explanation than that. I think Vettel, in his mind, thinks he reacted as soon as was humanly possible.
Yeah, and nobody.
And so when you see, well, exactly, you see that light go, and you go, and you think you went as fast as possible. When you see someone going before you went, they must have jumped it, but he didn't. At the end of the day, he was just faster. So yeah, I mean, again. And I know this is down to the press twisting it, because I've actually seen the interview. He doesn't say this. But one of the headlines I saw was Vettel convinced Bottas jump start despite... Yeah, Vettel certain unhuman Bottas jump start. That's the headline here. and you read through the article, he doesn't actually say that. He goes... From my point of view, he jumped the start. I was sure that he did. It looked like it from inside the car, but it's not for me to judge at the end of the day. My start was tricky to keep a standing start, but, the stewards have got the best information to judge it. I mean, again, he makes this whole thing about from where I was sitting, it looked like a jump start.
Yeah.
But again, you read the headline, unhuman Bottas jump start.
Vettel is allowed to turn around and say that he thought it was a jump start. He's allowed to say that. He's allowed to ask the question, was it a jump start? And if it's
Ricciardo did as well. Ricciardo asked it as well. They both said that looked like a jump start to us.
Yeah, seems like the press is really jumping on Vettel at the moment.
Well, I think they're jumping on everything, but yeah, they're trying to. Like, every pantomime needs the bad guy, and they know from experience that if they can get the crowd against Vettel, they get boos.
Yeah,
and they like the boo. I'm not saying Formula One likes the boos, but the press like the boos. Everyone likes a villain. Yeah. And so that's what we're trying to paint, Yeah.
So it was proved that it wasn't a jump start. He didn't get a penalty for it.
No.
It was
it was basically, it was as close to a perfect start as is possible to get.
Yeah.
Under the current regulations. Because like I said, they won't allow you to actually go at the exact same nanosecond as the lights turn. Because they don't want an anticipated start. Which, as I said, I don't have a problem with that. Because I think if you do the penalty is you've got to do a 10-second penalty within the first 3 laps. Mm-hmm. Ain't no one going to try and do it,
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of a better start that I've seen. I'm sure I have, where Alonso's kicked back from the Ferrari mid-pack.
Well, I think, a couple of... I think back when Alonso was with Ferraris and they were just getting those lightning starts. And the Williams as well, back in 2014 and 2015.
That's right, yeah.
Where they would just the lights would go, and all of a sudden the Williams, which were in the middle of a pack, were like fighting for first and second.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so
it is what it is.
That is the lightning start then. That was some of the excitement on the first lap. Now
that was some of it. There was some more further down the grid, however, wasn't there?
Yes. Well, we had a sluggish start from Max Verstappen.
Very sluggish, yes. It was almost as if Bottas had actually sucked the starting juice from his Red Bull and stolen it for himself.
Because that's what it's called, isn't it? The starting juice.
The starting juice, absolutely. It's a new energy drink available in all good bookshops.
Nope, not going anywhere near energy drinks. Thank you very much.
Nope.
Nope. There's a story behind that. No, find it out somewhere else.
Yeah.
And also another person in a different flavoured Red Bull, Sainz, had a really poor start as well.
Yeah, I think I didn't see this, but I did hear that Palmer had a sluggish start as well.
I'm trying to think where he started. He started 11th. No, he finished 11th, didn't he? Where did he start? He started 16th. I can't remember. I can't remember what his start was like.
Again, I didn't see it myself. I heard it reported that he'd had a sluggish start. Right. So there you go. One other thing just to mention, which we probably should have picked up after the qualifying, Wehrlein was doing a pit lane start.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah, he started from the pit lane, yeah. Okay, so Max Verstappen had a real sluggish start. It sounds like he had a clutch problem anyway.
Yes.
And it went into anti-stall, it jiggered and pokered around, he lost positions, he got it gathered up, and then went into turn 1. Funny enough, at that same time, Alonso, who had a cracking start behind Sainz, went around Sainz and was also entering into turn 1. Behind him, we had Daniel Kvyat, who had quite a good start over Sainz. He had to go round Sainz as well, followed Alonso, got squeezed a bit by Sainz. And I think he was momentarily taken aback by what Sainz was doing next to him. He lost position where he was, locked up both his brakes, and then continued to smack Alonso up the bottom, and which forced Alonso into Max Verstappen, taking both of them out straight away, which is a damn shame as far as I'm concerned.
To me, it had shades of Grosjean in Spa back in 2012.
Yeah.
He just kind of went barreling in at full pelt, locked both his brakes, and just took out, two other drivers.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I know he's just not been having the best season this time around, but still, it's just like you can't drive like that, dude. You just can't.
I think this might be the nail in the coffin now. Really, because he's taken out one of the big guys from the other flavoured Red Bull.
Well, I think he might get a stay of execution only insofar as they were saying that Red Bull was probably balked regardless.
Yeah.
So it didn't cost them any points in that sense. But yeah, if you're Toro Rosso and you are the Red Bull feeder series, of the two drivers you currently got in there, Sainz is the one I'd want to keep, and I'd probably want to bring someone else in alongside him.
Yeah. Because they've got a good car.
They've probably got one of the best Formula One GP2 cars, as I'm going to call them from now on, the midfield. Yeah, I don't know if they've got the best, but certainly top 3 for the best of the rest.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's a solid car.
It is a solid car, and on their day, they're both reasonable drivers. But how many chances can you really keep giving Kvyat?
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it? He should have been doing this in the Toro Rosso first time round, get this out of his system. But where he's gone up to the big team, he's come back down again. He's never really gained momentum.
He's never recovered from that being slapped back down.
No, and I thought maybe this season he might bounce back from that and start afresh. Okay, let's go again. Let's see what we can do. But it just doesn't seem to be working anymore. I'm really disappointed now.
Yeah, very much so. I also wonder if, is the sponsorship that he was bringing still as valuable to them?
Yeah. But it's such a clumsy mistake. It really is.
Yeah.
And to take out Alonso, who we both have thoroughly enjoyed watching all season long.
Oh, God, yeah. He honestly, on a day like today, just his radio chatter alone would have been like the reason to tune into, to listen to it. But yeah, it was it was not good.
Yeah, so
not good. I literally, my heart sank when I saw that it was Alonso, but was the McLaren taken out.
Yeah, yeah. So you said that Verstappen, it sounded like he had a clutch problem, and it sounded terminal anyway, and that was just diagnosed going up into turn 1, wasn't it?
Well, it was partly that, but basically he didn't actually suffer much damage in the collision.
Mm.
And yeah, it was more like, I think he went wheel to wheel with Alonso, and maybe he lost his nose, but mechanically there was no real damage from it.
Yeah.
So that bag of spanners he was trying to drag back was all down to the clutch failure.
Yeah, and he didn't even make it back to the pits, did he?
No, well, they told him to stop because, again, he was just going to end up shredding the engine.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he really gives a damn about, but when it comes down to the fact it ends up costing you a a number of points for the next one. You can see why Red Bull don't want him to do that.
Yeah, that's right. Alonso did...
Although I think this time he did stick around to do the interviews afterwards.
Yeah, well, I think the track and the area around the track is so small that you can't make it out there anyway. You have to go past the pits to get out, so you've got no choice. It's not like a Spa where, okay, fine, I'm at the furthest point. I'll just hang around here. Sod it. No need to go back.
Yeah.
Alonso made it back to the pits, but promptly jumped out of the car and retired straight away.
Yeah.
And Kvyat, he ended up pitting for a nose cone, put a new one on, and carried on his merry way. No problems whatsoever.
Well, he had problems a bit later on. He got a drive-through penalty, didn't he?
Oh, he was deemed to cause the problem with the crash, which is...
To which I think there was a collective no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, I'll make you right on that one. Also, another retirement we had was Kevin Magnussen with hydraulics. Nothing too drama-driven there.
Let's just speak about his teammate as well for a minute, Roman Grosjean. What a great race he had.
I thought you'd done really, really well.
Well, absolutely. Well, he did. I mean, at one point he was running up in third, wasn't he, for a little bit?
Yeah, I thought you had a cracking race.
He had a cracking little race. I don't know quite how they managed to, rub their bellies while patting their heads at the same time, doing the voodoo curses and slaying the lizard to get his brakes to work. But whatever it was seemed to work.
Yeah, he didn't really seem to have any problems this week, did he?
Right, again, I didn't hear him complain once over the radio. So it was very much... I mean, this was kind of like the Haas we saw at the beginning of last year again, wasn't it? Just kind of getting in there, getting points. Did you hear Magnussen said a naughty word? They didn't beep it.
Yes, I did. Yes, love that. I just love hearing commentators trying to apologise for people saying swears. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that. Just speaking of commentators as well. I don't know if maybe Martin Brundle's getting a bit of a Murray disease, but quite a few mistakes today. Did you hear?
No, I didn't know. No, I didn't notice any.
At one point, Alonso took out Jos Verstappen.
Okay, yeah.
And then Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren was chasing down Kimi in the Ferrari.
We've all done it, mate. We've all done it.
No, we've all done it, but it's Brundle is usually very fastidious in these sort of things, and also Crofty is usually there to point out when he's wrong. But yeah,
did Crofty miss it as well?
Yeah, Crofty missed them both too. Or he didn't bring them up, so
right. Okay, just going back to Haas real quick. I heard Ted turn around and say that Haas at the moment have scored as many points as they did last season, so they are working their way forwards, which is good to see.
Yeah. It's been a bit more even Stevens because I think last time out it was Grosjean scoring the majority of them.
Yep.
And this time I think Magnussen's had a chance as well. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Good. And the last retirement we had of the four was Carlos Sainz with his engine popping.
Well, something broke on him fairly early on because he was begging the team at one point to either fix it or let him retire, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you got to just stay out there and,
make do, really.
Make do, basically, yeah. And it's like, well, yeah, fair enough, mate. It's kind of your job.
Well, yeah, it's a long race. Anything can happen. Safety cars can come out. We've seen them on this circuit before as well. Yep. It's not unheard of. Someone could take out the leader last year. Anything can happen, and you're 3-4 laps into a race, maybe even 40 laps into the race. Still, anything can happen there. So yeah, plug on. Look what happened to Bottas last race. He was plumb last, and then ended up finished second.
I think he was just having a sulk because he'd been told off by his boss.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's not how you get the boss back on side, though, is it?
No, it's not.
No. And what I've written down in my book, my notebook that I have, nothing. I've got the Bottas jump start. I've got people's tyres were blistering from lap 18, and then it was just pit stops.
Just pit stops, yeah. I mean, Bottas had a fractionally slow pit stop,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It was interesting what they did, because what was happening, you had, what's his name? Oh, Hamilton. He got past the two Force Indias and was working his way up to the back of Kimi Raikkonen. And they got to a certain lap, and it was a case of, okay, Hamilton, you either stay out when he comes in, or you come in when he stays out. Hamilton ducked into the pits. Kimi carried on his merry way.
Yep.
By the time the team works out, oh shit, we've been undercut, it wasn't even worth bringing Kimi Raikkonen in, because then he couldn't affect anyone else's race.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think Ricciardo at some point pitted just to cover.
He pitted straight after. Hamilton pitted, did one lap on the ultras, and it was like blisteringly fast.
Yeah.
And then Ricciardo pitted and only just got out in front of him, because one more lap at the pace Lewis had then would have had him jumped. But it would seem that Lewis dug too deeply and too greedily.
That's right, yeah.
And effectively shagged his tyres.
So Ricciardo pitted, Kimi stayed out.
Yep.
Vettel then pitted just to cover off what Daniel Ricciardo was doing.
Yeah.
And Kimi stayed out.
Yes.
And at this point, Bottas was leading. Bottas pitted. And Kimi stayed out.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah. And so, am I right in thinking that Kimi was leading the race at one point?
He was.
With Bottas coming down. So we had a pass for the lead. Surely not.
No, we didn't have a pass for the lead, I think. No, because... we did have a pass for the lead, yes, because as soon as Bottas passed him, Kimi pitted straight away.
That's right, yeah, because he got him into turn. I think Ferrari were thinking, okay, we've missed our window with Kimi. He was going to be dropping back behind Lewis. Let's use that Ferrari in another way. And their master plan was to keep Kimi out there, slow up Bottas, bring Vettel back into play a little bit more. And it kind of didn't work. He
had a scruffy turn 3, I think, and Bottas just effectively just blew by him.
Yeah.
But the irony there, I think, is if they had if they'd run the race for Kimi and not for Vettel, I think he might have been able to get Ricciardo and probably get a podium.
Really?
Because at the end of the day, running around on those shag tyres for as long as he was, up at the front, on the off chance he might be able to slow down slow down Bottas. If he'd have been pitted earlier, and he might have ended up coming out behind Lewis, but he'd have been closer to Lewis when his tyres started going off and he started complaining, and he'd been a lot closer to Ricciardo as well.
Yeah.
I reckon Kimi could have taken them both, to be honest, because, especially towards the end, he was pretty punchy. I feel that they compromised Kimi's strategy for Vettel.
Yep.
Just on the off chance. I think Ferrari, they may not say it publicly, but they're definitely, Kimi's the 2 driver. He's the support gunner. It's all about Vettel's championship at this point.
Yeah, but they mustn't take their eye off the constructors as well. They need the points that Kimi's bringing in. Granted, he's the 4th fastest out of the top 2 teams, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not on par with Vettel. Vettel's got more of a stranglehold on that Ferrari than Kimi has. But I think it's more designed around Vettel and his style anyway.
Yeah.
And Kimi just has to make do and see what he can get out of it. But it's a shame that I like the way that Ferrari worked, and I could see what they were trying to do. It's a shame that he couldn't pull it off for the team. I would like that sort of situation to actually work, and then Kimi really pull it home for his team. Otherwise, it just seems a waste that we got from him. If he'd been able to hold off Bottas, if he'd brought Vettel back into it, and then he'd pitted and them 2 battle, and maybe the Ferrari get the upper hand towards the end. Brilliant. Kimi Raikkonen, what a star. He's done that, but he just didn't have what it took today, which worries me for the future as well.
I really can't see Kimi in Ferrari next year.
No.
I just think there's too many exciting possibilities out there for potential replacements. And he's just not doing enough to kind of warrant it, is he?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, arguably, Ferrari are the second best car out there, maybe even the best on race trim. But he's fifth in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah.
That kind of says it all there, doesn't it? Because, again, at least Bottas, as a rear gunner or whatever you want to say, he is only, 21 points behind Lewis. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. All the people that finished in front of him in the race, they're all the ones that have won races today.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't got a race win for Ferrari yet. In this
in his second time around, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was the excitement I felt was in the middle of the race. Anyway, I quite enjoyed that little tussle with the pit stops and the strategy going on there. And then we got down to the last 2-3 laps, I suppose, where you had Bottas leading.
Yeah, there was a bit of a flurry at the end, wasn't there? Because a lot of tyres were blistering quite severely.
Yeah.
Which you can see some really good high speed shots of these tyres with like massive blisters on them. And yeah, effectively Bottas was fading fast, and Vettel was catching him. At one point, got within a second, but then I think he got held up by some traffic with Perez.
Yeah,
in the wrong place.
He lost a lot of time in that.
Yeah, he lost about half a second at that point. And also at the same time, you also had Lewis gunning for Ricciardo as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looked. I mean, he had a really good lunge on the penultimate lap. Lewis did.
He got past him at one point, though, didn't he? His nose
didn't
was
get
ahead.
He got maybe 2/3 of a car length ahead, but he was on the outside. So Ricciardo was then on the inside in the next turn, and just had a better exit, and that was it. And then they were into the middle section, which the Red Bull was faster on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he kind of. But again, respect to Lewis for having a go. I mean, again, we had whiny, I'm not having fun, Lewis, this time out.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Which
is, it's never fun to listen to on the radio. It's just, you saw that video I posted on the Facebook group, the Fine Laurie one.
No, I didn't see that. No.
No, there's a video on there. But again, it's about how you've literally got the best job in the world. You're driving fast cars. You get paid millions of quid. You can have any woman you want. And even on your worst day, sort of thing, the worst thing that happens is you only scored fourth. And again, it just sounded like his dog had died at some points in that,
Yeah.
So yeah. But other than that, again, respect. It was really good charge at the end, and it was. I mean, those two charges from Vettel and from Lewis were pretty much the only things which even kept me awake at the end of that.
Yeah. Let's give the race one more lap. Would Vettel have overcome Bottas, and would Lewis Hamilton overcome Ricciardo?
I don't know, because Vettel was closing, but again, we know Bottas can defend.
Yeah.
He can make that Mercedes quite wide. I would have liked to have seen that. As for Lewis, I think he might have needed 2 laps, because I've noticed that when he's in this sort of a mood, when he gets knocked back like that, he kind of needs to have a lap to kind of collect himself again and then have a run at it. So yeah, but I mean, we all say that, again. What I want is I want a dogfight to last more than a couple of laps. I want it to be when they've caught them. There's a couple of. I just want one more lap where, it's a do or die charge. I want a good dogfight.
I want 10, 15, 20 laps worth of dogfighting. That's what I really want.
So I don't think an extra lap would have made a huge amount of difference for me in my enjoyment of the race.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Well, so that is the race. Should we run down the finishing positions?
Yes. Let's. Should we just do top 10?
Yeah. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll do the top 10.
Okay,
So, actually, no, before we do that, let's talk about two other cars, which we haven't mentioned here, but I think certainly warrant it.
Yeah.
Williams.
Yes.
They had a shit qualifying, as we mentioned.
So they started 18th and 17th.
They did, but they both came through to both finish in the points.
Yeah, stonking.
So they
drives.
had stonking drives, both of them. I'm more impressed with this drive from Lance Stroll than I was from his podium.
Why
Straight
is
up,
that?
I am.
Why is that? Is it because it's more of a seasoned drive?
Well, it's more of a reflective drive. I still maintain that last time out he kind of lucked into that podium just through attrition of everyone else effectively falling away around him.
Yeah.
It was such a topsy-turvy race. I mean, hell, it could have, and I don't say this easily, it could have just as easily been fucking Palmer as Stroll last time out. Whereas this time, we know both of the Williams were struggling massively. It's going to come as a fucking kick in the nuts to drop out in Q3, basically, and then to come through again. I mean, we only had 4 retirements, so it was a low attrition race.
Yeah.
And only just behind your teammate. I mean, that tells to me he got the maximum out of the car, because we all know how highly we rate Felipe Massa.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, him coming through and getting a point, I'm far more impressed with that than I am with the podium. And I think that's what the confidence boost that the podium gave him. He suddenly realised he could do it. And he didn't go stressing and panicking and what have you. Needed that.
I could agree with that because at the very beginning of the weekend, Lance Stroll, he looked like he couldn't handle that car. It was all over the place. It was an utter pig.
Mm-hmm.
And yet to bring it through to 10th, right behind your teammate as well. And it was formation flying all the way through that race for them too. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if he just kind of stuck to the back of Massa and was like, I'm just going to learn all I can, Yeah. And if he did take that approach, then I've got, again, even more respect, because rather than trying to, punch past him and clumsily and end up taking them both out, sort of thing, biding time, learning. You didn't get past him, fine, but I'm not going to berate you at this point for not having a go. I'm going to be like, mate, you got up from 18th to 10th. Respect.
Yeah, sensible drive.
Sensible drive. And speaking of non-sensible drives, Stoffel Van Dorn gets my fuck you were thinking about there. I know neither of us are particularly fans of blue flags, but it is actually the law that you have to pull over when you're shown 3 of them in a succession.
Yeah.
And he ignored them. And then he admitted he was ignoring them because he was trying to get a run on... I can't remember who he was trying to pass. Maybe Hulkenberg?
Right.
No, it wouldn't have been Hulkenberg. But anyway, he was trying to use the confusion of the traffic to get by.
Oh, jeez. Who was he blocking at the time then?
I think it was Sainz.
Right.
But yeah, so he ended up with a quite a severe penalty. He had a drive-through as well, I think, which a little harsh, I think. I think maybe a 5 or a 10-second penalty would have been better. But there you go.
Right.
They don't want to mess around with dangerous things like not yielding under blue flags, now do you?
No, that's right. Yeah. I would like to mention one other person.
Yes.
Mr. Jolyon Palmer. He finished 11th for the 3rd time running, I think it is.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's turning into...
Finished ahead of Hulkenberg.
He did, yes. So that has to be commended. I remember during the 90s, once again, Johnny Herbert always finishing 7th, always outside the points. And it was just, it was heartbreaking every single time. This isn't as heartbreaking because it's 11th. And so, not by Johnny Herbert's standards at all. But it must be frustrating. It really must be. And so I think he's gunning for at least a point in the British Grand Prix next time out.
Are you saying we can expect to hear Jolyon Palmer's dulcet tones on Sky F1 next year?
I'm not saying a word. Once the mid-season break is over, I'm gonna let rip. But at the moment, I'm trying to keep it tame. So
there you go. All right, fair enough. Okay. All right, I'll do the top 10 then.
Yep.
So, finishers as they were was, as we've already mentioned, 10th was Lance Stroll. with Williams. 9th was Massa. 8th was Ocon. 7th was Perez. So a bit of formation flying from those two. 6th, a very impressive Roman Grosjean, who said in the post-race interview he won the Formula 1 GP2 champion race. So the best of the rest. I quite like that, yeah. The best of the rest award. Then Kimi Räikkönen in 5th. Lewis Hamilton in 4th. Lewis Hamilton in 4th. Daniel Ricciardo 3rd. Vettel 2nd. And Bottas 3rd. And another case of athlete's foot in the mouth for another commentator, this time Martin Brundle. Although it was funny watching Bottas and Vettel run away at the very mention of this thing.
They did, didn't they?
They did.
They're probably getting sick of it.
It's hard for me. I was going to say it's hard for me to get down because I really like Ricciardo, but yeah, I mean that joke has kind of done its thing now.
Yeah, I reckon he should just save it until wins. But then again, you got people like Martin Brundle who are making him do this shoey.
Well, it's true. He wasn't even going to do it, but Brundle kind of made it a thing. So
yeah,
there you go.
So maybe for the rest of the season, just do it when you win, mate. Just do it when you win.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to run down all 21 drivers so far in the championship. Is it 21?
Really?
Yeah, 21.
It is,
yes.
but really?
Yes, I'm going to do it. Yeah, just for we don't normally do it. We don't normally do the top 5, but I'm going to be really quick on this. Okay. So we got Giovinazzi, Van Dorn, Ericsson, and Palmer all on 0 points. Fernando Alonso has 2. Kvyat has 4 points. Verline 5 points. Magnussen 11 points. Grosjean 18. Hulkenberg 18. Lance Stroll 18. Massa 22 points. Carlos Sainz in 9th position in 29 points. Ocon 39 points. Max Verstappen low down in 7th place with 45 points. Perez.
That's a shock.
It is, yes, it is. That's why I had to highlight the 7th.
Yeah.
Perez with 50 points. Kimi Räikkönen 83 points. Daniel Ricciardo in the 4th with 107 points. Valtteri Bottas in 3rd with 136 points. Lewis Hamilton in 2nd with 151 points. And Sebastian Vettel with 171 points. So he has pulled away from Hamilton.
He scored an extra 6 points this time out, didn't he? But it's only, at one point apparently it was a 25-point gap in the championship.
Yep.
So, and I think last time out, no, not last time out, but 2015, at one point Lewis was about 30 points behind Rosberg and he came back to win. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's a DNF and a race win. I mean, that's 5 points ahead to Lewis.
That's right, yeah. That's right. Okay, right, I'm going to run down the constructors as well. All 10 constructors. We have McLaren Honda with 2 points.
Woo!
Sauber with 5 points. Renault, 18 points. Haas has clocked up 29 points. Toro Rosso, 33 points. Williams, 40 points. Force India, the 4th team in 4th with 89 points. Red Bull in 3rd with 152 points. Ferrari in 2nd with 254 points. And Mercedes are out front at the moment with 287 points. There we go. Okay, so, right, should we get into the predictions that we predicted last time out?
Yes, let us do the things.
Okay, right. Once again, I have to ask you for contractual reasons. Do you remember what you predicted?
I will refer the honourable gentleman to my previous response.
Okay, fair play. Right, well, for pole position, I predicted Hamilton. You, my friend, predicted Bottas.
Woo!
So you get a point for that. Well done. For the race, I predicted Vettel. I get no points. For a race, you predicted Bottas.
Way!
You get 2 points. You son of a bitch.
Now, close enough on you.
I think you've overtaken now, mate. Honestly, I really do. For the 3rd column, we predicted who the top Red Bull scorer would be.
Okay.
And then for a bonus point, it was nearest the pin as to where they finished.
Right.
Jesus Christ. I predicted Verstappen, no points, and I said he
Nil
would be
point.
second, so that doesn't count anyway. You predicted Ricciardo, 1 point, and you predicted fourth.
So close. So close.
It is really close. I think we said nearest the pin. So, I think you get an extra point for that, mate.
You know what? I've had a good call of points here. I'm not going to take it. You know, if it gets to the end and I lose by 1 point, I will point to this as the reason I lost.
Okay, right. Well then, yeah, you got that in the bag then. So that means you get 3 points this race out. Three points. Do you know that is the biggest haul of anyone? That's a clean sweep. That is what they call. What do they call when you get a fastest lap, pole position, and race win?
Grand Slam, is it?
Grand Slam. You have Grand Slammed it, mate.
Oh, there you go. Wait.
Well done. So let me just have a count up. You got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 points at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points. So you are storming it, mate.
Hey! Still, everything to play for. As we know, you can still turn it around.
Oh, there's still over half a season to go.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you are winning. The next time out will be the British Grand Prix.
And we have an announcement, do we not?
Well, yeah, the Grand Prix podcast will be taking part in the British Grand Prix.
Part of it will be.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Where are you at the moment? America. Oh, damn. Okay, yeah, so the long and short of it is, what I've been told, the firm I work for is doing a standby on site. And I've been asked, oh, you like Formula One? Would you like to do the standby? And I'm like, let me think about that. Yes, please. And so, for the Saturday and the Sunday, I will be getting in for free. For free. That's it. No British pounds will partake from me to Silverstone to get in there. I am working for them, and so I'm in for free. So, I'm not too sure. Oh, you've sent me an image. Oh, God. This is going to be someone swearing, isn't it?
No. It's my only defence to your...
Oh, is it going to piss down?
No. That's the weather for me for the next week.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, you can keep that. So, yeah, I'm getting in for free. Now, whether I get AAA, I've been told I've got AAA.
For the people who don't know, that means access all areas, not, breakdown cover.
That's right, yes. Yeah. So, whether that pans out or not, I'm holding my breath on that. I don't want to get myself too excited. But if...
I got a couple of questions.
Yeah, go on.
So if offered, will you partake of a shoey? And will you actually be doing the podium interviews?
I'm not scheduled to do the podium interviews yet. And yes, I will be doing a shoey.
Okay.
I would guarantee I would.
He's regardless of who gets on the podium or not, he's just going to do one himself. There you go. Post a picture of you doing a shoey.
Not from my work boots. No, thank you. But anyway, yeah. If I get the opportunity, then yes, I will be. I don't know where I'm going to be stationed. I have been told I can get into certain places and watch the race. It's all new to me, so I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm just going to Silverstone and let's see what happens. Now, if you're interested in all that sort of stuff, I will be putting photos up on the Grand Prix Pod Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Grand Prix Podcast. And I'll be putting the same photos up on Twitter, which is at Grand Prix Pod. So follow us on either or, and hopefully I'll be able to get up some snaps. I'll be taking a camera as well to get some really good snaps as well. So fingers crossed I might be able to put some of them up there. Or it'll just be a sad face of me crying in my van because I'm not allowed into a certain section. Just, I can hear them, yet I cannot see them. And it'd just be disappointing. But, yeah, we shall see anyway.
So conversely, that does suggest to me we'll probably have to record next week on the Monday.
Yes, we won't be recording on the Sunday because I've got to be there all day.
Well, not only that, you probably won't be able to actually watch the race until...
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I need to actually watch the race and get it into my head and find out actually what happened. Because like watching a football match or any other sports, it takes on a totally different atmosphere and sense of occasion when you're there compared to actually watching it on the TV. So, we are going to record late. When do you reckon? Maybe the Monday or maybe the Wednesday after, I suppose.
I'd rather do the Monday if possible, but we'll play it by ear.
Okay, cool. Right.
Yeah.
We may be a day late next time out. But yeah, it's for a good reason anyway. So the British Grand Prix then.
Yep.
Predictions. What would you like to predict for pole position?
Well, as is tradition, let me give you some stats here.
Yep.
So from the 2016 race, pole position was Lewis Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
And the podium was Hamilton from Verstappen from Rosberg, with Nico Rosberg having the fastest lap. As far as multiple winners go, the most with 5 is Jim Clark and Alan Prost. Then Hamilton and Mansell both tied with 4. Then Jack Brabham, Niki Lauda, Michael Schumacher 3 apiece. And then a whole load of people have 2, including David Coulthard, which is, I think, the first time his name's encountered on this. Just a little sidebar again. He was on Crystal Maze last week. What was he doing on Crystal Maze? David Coulthard.
Oh, was he?
What's going on?
Oh, no, I would have turned it off.
Yeah. Anyway. And as far as constructors, the most wins, Ferrari with 15. Then McLaren, then Williams, and then Lotus.
Cool.
So there you go. Well, look, since I am currently, what's the technical term from here, trashing you, would you like to have first dibs?
What, for pole position?
Oh, for all of them. So,
Okay.
so what you could take first dibs.
Okay, Hamilton, straight off.
Yeah. You go
Yep.
for Hamilton?
Yep.
Well, I will go for strokey chin. I'm going to go with Vettel.
Vettel, pole position.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, right. Okay, the race win.
Again, you get first pick of the first bite of the cherry is yours, sir.
Yeah, well, Hamilton won last year. I don't think he's going to win this year. I think it might be Vettel.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to go Vettel.
Oh, well, in that case, I will go with the guy who won it in 2014, 2015 and 2016.
So, Hamilton?
That'll be Hamilton.
Okay. So it's going to be like 4 on a trot for him to win.
If he wins it, yeah.
Wow. That's quite impressive, actually.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah. Third column. Now, we're at the British Grand Prix. How many British drivers do we have in the pack at the moment? It's just 2, isn't it?
Hamilton and Palmer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to find out where Palmer finishes?
No, because I don't really care.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
How about... It all kind of depends if he gets it. I'd be very curious to where Alonso would finish in his spec-free engine. But knowing our luck, he either would blow up or wouldn't start with it. So that's kind of a non-starter there. What's going to be a good third column? It's got to be something that's like about Silverstone, isn't it?
Yeah.
How about... I need to check something very quickly. Let me just have a quick look.
I'm getting excited now, though.
Are you getting excited?
Yeah.
Oh.
Almost can't contain myself.
Down, boy. Right, hang about. That's what I want. And... 10 days. Come on, give me the info. There you go. Right, okay then. How many times will it rain on race day?
Oh, hopefully none, because I'm there. Actually, no. Did it rain last year? And Hamilton came in at the perfect time, didn't he?
Hang about. So 2016 race, let's have a look. Yep, it started behind the safety car due to rain just before the start.
Okay. So are you asking, will it rain or how many times will it rain?
How many times will... Because again, it's a British summertime. Will it just rain the entire time? Will it not rain at all? Or will it be showers when it stops and showers? Will we have an in and out swapping for wet tyres throughout, you see?
Yeah.
These are the staples of the British Grand Prix. It's the shitty weather.
I'm going to have to take my coat, aren't I? Sod it.
I would take your coat. And again, the added spice that you're going to be there just makes this quite delectable. It's like, ooh, yes. How many times will it rain?
I'm going to try my hardest to get you a Jolyon Palmer hat signed by Jolyon Palmer. I really am. It's like a chocolate teapot of your of your life, really, isn't it?
I'd be quite honoured by the ingenuity. Also, I'm pretty sure you actually hate him, or certainly his father, more than me, since he tried to kill you. So that you're willing to go to that level just to try and get an ire out of me is quite touching. I have to say.
Don't worry, if I bump into him, don't worry, I will be mentioning that. I'm going to be taking my audio equipment with me as well, so we shall see. So
we need some outside broadcast. If nothing else, I just want you to go and stand as close as you can of a track so we can just hear what we sound like.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to say it's going to rain once on race day.
Just once. So there's just going to be one instance of rain on race day. Yeah. And just to be clear, from smart asses out there, we're talking about during the race. I don't care if it rains at like 9 o'clock at night. I don't give a fuck about that. We're talking about
during the race.
Should we include qualifying into this or just a race?
No,
just a race. Let's
a race. But to clarify that it has actually rained, there needs to be spots of rain on the cameras.
No. Here's what it is. The qualifier is how many times do we have to change to the intermediate or wet tyres. So it's not changing from wets to wet or intermediates to wets. How many times do we have to change from dry tyres to intermediate or wet tyres?
Right.
That constitutes to me a wet period. So if they have to, if it rains like twice, but it was so wet throughout, they just stayed on the wet tyres, that's just one wet period.
Okay.
It's how many times do they have to go to the intermediate or wet tyres? That's my third column.
Right. So what you're saying is, Elton, you're going on holiday for a whole weekend. It should be nice, but really, I hope it pisses down.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so how many are you saying then? I'm going for once.
Just once. Is that just one long, continuous period of rain?
That is either it starts off wet and ends up dry, or it starts off dry and ends up wet. Okay.
I'm going to go with 2.
2.
That's going to be, it's going to start dry, then rain, then dry up, and then rain again.
So it's 2 periods of rain.
Two instances where 2 periods of rain, yeah.
Okay, fine. Wow, this is like the longest.
This is quite convoluted ever, but
It is, yeah. We could have just gone for fastest pit stop or speed trap or anything, but no, rain. Okay, excellent. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, we're British at the British Grand Prix, and what do? We talk about the weather. It's what we do, man.
Yeah, so it goes hand in hand. Well done. I like your style. Yes. Cool. Well, we will see you next time. Are you looking forward to this race? Do you like this new circuit layout?
As a rule, I kind of do like the silver. I mean, it's never been my favourite race. Mm-hmm. I think it suffers a bit of the overhype that Monaco does. The only difference here being, on occasion, you get a good race out of it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I certainly hope for a more exciting race than we just got out of Austria.
Yep.
But I'm not expecting a Baku.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. I, like you, I like the race, and sometimes I gloss over it because I don't think you always get the greatest race. But when you're actually watching the race, they turn out to be pretty good, I feel.
I always love those low camera angles with a heat haze coming up the straight and everything.
Yeah.
Again, lots of fond memories of Mansell in '92 and all that. So
yeah. So I like the new shape of the circuit. I know it's a couple of years old now, but I like what they've done with it. I don't think it's detracted from the original layout, which some circuits have. Mm-hmm. So I like that. I feel you know what you're going to get. You're going to get fast cars going around a track really quickly. It's got some fast corners. The only thing that throws me off is where they've changed the start-finish line. And whenever they go onto the old start-finish line, it always feels like the start of the lap, but you're only halfway round the lap, and so it's a bit confusing.
Yeah, I get that.
But I always like coming here. Once we're there, I love it. Once we're gone, okay, that's fine, it's gone. And don't really look forward to it, but once we're there, I really enjoy it. So, yeah, looking forward to it, especially now.
Also, as you're going to be there, yes.
Yeah, so there we go. So, as we've said before, we'll probably be recording a little late after the British Grand Prix. Hopefully, just the Monday recording instead of a normal Sunday. So, keep your fingers crossed that we can get it all done. Thank you to everyone who does listen. Please pop along to the Facebook groups and the Twitter page as well, which is once again facebook.com/groups/Grand Prix Podcast, or on Twitter it's at Grand Prix Pod. Join us there. Interact with us both there. Is there anything else? Do you want to plug anything, mate?
Well, I could certainly plug space.jury, which is facebook.com/groups/space.jury and space.jury.com, where typically I join Mr. Lee Medcalf and the Reverend Peter Walker, that we have a very intelligent and informed discussion about spaceships. Unfortunately, Lee suffered a rather terrible transporter accident this week and was sent into a mirror universe where he might meet some evil doppelgangers. How's the goatee going anyway, Elton? Actually, no, you don't need a goatee because I'm already evil and I have one. So, yeah, you're fine. And also, the Band of Brothers podcast. We've recorded another one.
Yes, we did. Hurrah!
Huzzah! So, yeah, that's all good and everything.
That'll be out this week, by the way.
Excellent. Also, I know you're going to mention it in a minute, but I'm going to usurp you. The lovely people at the Black Dog Podcast are going to suffer for our sins, and are going to watch Cool as Ice, is it?
Yes.
For charity?
Yep.
So if you want to hear four grown men suffer and, absolutely hate a film with lots of swearing for a good cause, for the Grenfell Tower victims, I think it is.
That's correct, yeah.
You can give all the details, but you should definitely go and partake of giving money to this very worthy cause of making Lee and Darren and Elton and Jim suffer pain. We applaud this.
Yes, thank you. Now I've got to look up the details. I know they're on there somewhere. It is on the Facebook as per normal. Everything's on Facebook now, isn't it? So
it is.
If you pop along to facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. And is there anything on there? There might be events. Hang on, let me just have a look on events. It may be on there. No, that's just the shindig.
That's also coming up, but that's, I don't think we have much crossover.
No, that's right. Yeah, anyway, pop along to the Black Dog Podcast. That's where we're doing all our recording stuff. So, yeah, there is a Just Giving page somewhere along the lines. If you pop along to the group, then I'm sure we can find the details for you. And it's all for a very good cause anyway. So what else is there? As you said, we have the Band of Brothers podcast. That will be out later this week. I just have to throw that together. And Shonky Lab, which last time out I was talking with a friend called Mr. Lee Harvey, and we were talking about spreads. Now, we were talking about peanut butter and margarine and Marmite and all that sort of weird and wonderful stuff. And we also had a roving reporter out in the streets talking about Flying Ant Day. So it's all there, and just jump on the the Facebook group of Grand Prix Podcast, and we can give you all the details over there. So that is it, really. Is it? iTunes reviews. We're really, really desperate for these iTunes reviews, just to push us up the scales a little bit.
It's to expose others to this very well-informed, intelligent, cultured discussion of the finer points of motor racing, that we do like.
With swears as well.
So many swears.
Yes.
All of the swears.
Yeah, so if you do have 5 minutes, and if you do have an iTunes account, then please pop along to iTunes, find us on there, and then give us a little review. Why not? It just help us out up a magical ladder that we need to climb. So anyway, so until the British Grand Prix, thank you very much for everyone who's listened and downloaded and partaken in all our stuff. And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra!